the stop it journalist. So this is what journalists should stop doing, and this is what journalists should start doing according to you. So Lovisa, I've asked you, could you let us know what your best advice would be? And I know it's a hard question probably, but
yeah, it's hard, but I thought about it, and this might feel strange to hear from a data scientist, but I'd say that we need to stop having an overbelief in what data can do. And don't get me wrong, because data and advanced analytics and AI is amazing, but data alone is logic. It's not magic. Data and analytics are guiding tools, but not a secret sauce. So, for example, sometimes I get a question, can you tell us what to write about? And yes, I can give you topics that your readers seem to like, and I can tell you, or I can tell the journalists how they usually read your stories. I can tell you how you should write even, or when to publish, or things like that. But I cannot write it for you. Or of course, media data and some lines of code can produce text, but it won't be very good yet. And what I want to say with this is that journalism is so much more than just words on a paper or on a screen, and we need to have that in mind.
Yeah,
I believe.
But do you, if I may ask, do you actually do these experiments to see if you can come up with, say, so what people call robot journalism or machine learning generated text, like natural language processing? Do you do these kinds of experiments?
Yeah, we did. We did newsletters, for example, with Robo journalism and auto-produced text. But yeah, I would say that's not really what journalism do, or journalism is to me, and what makes it really worth paying for Dagens Nyheter, at least. But of course, it could be an additional service. But
and we see it applied to sort of, I think, stock market information and sports analyses, but coverage, just as a sort of what happened, which is sort of really structured and following a logical pattern, right? Those things quite automated.
Yeah. And for example, at the end, we usually say that we are data informed, not data driven. And some might claim that there's no difference, but to us it is, because, I mean, for example, during the spring and the COVID pandemic, we had more readers than ever before. So the business logic would have told us that the right thing to do would be to sell as many subscriptions as possible, or maybe even raise the price to earn as much money as possible. But what we did was actually the opposite. We gave trial subscriptions for free during the most intense period, because we thought it was important for as many people as possible to get access to correct information and quality journalism. And what happened afterwards was that a lot of those trial subscriptions actually turned into paying subscriptions. So today we have more paying digital subscribers than ever. And this, I think, shows that we can both do societal good and have a sustainable business model. But
because people call this, I think, the pandemic bump, like you have a Trump bump. And aren't you afraid that maybe if the pandemic sort of hopefully sort of diminishes or goes away, those people might not renew their subscriptions? Are you how do you counter that, or how are you thinking about that in the newsroom?
Yeah, we focus a lot about onboarding and monitoring the user behaviors and see how we can what we can do to make them stay longer, as well as having good offers that makes them step by step go into fully paying subscribers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. As you said, so journalists should stop treating data as magic. You say it's logic. And then, so to turn this into another positive note, I've asked you also to hear your advice on what journalists should start doing, learning, trying tomorrow. What would that be?
Yeah, it might sound as a cliche, but I really think that more of us should start embracing diversity and see different backgrounds and experiences as an asset in the innovation work. because I think that the future of journalism is too important to just be handled by only journalists or only developers or analysts only. Because I think that
do you tell traditional journalists at your newsroom the same thing? If there might be people who work for 25 years at DN, do you say the same thing to them as you tell our viewers to now?
I do, yeah, because I think that what we need to do is to come together, and I think that we are better together, because we need all kinds of, I mean, when we come together, for example, people working with graphics and developers and analysts and people from marketing department and political experts and so on. I believe that when we come together, we can create the best coverage of the most important topics, as well as coming up with the best ideas about how to build a sustainable business. So I think think broader when you're about to invite your colleagues for a workshop, or when taking strategic decisions or planning journalistic jobs. I would say, at least at Dagens Nyheter, the cross-functional teams in combination with agile ways of working has been the key success factor for our subscription business.
Yeah, so you say agile way of working, cross-functional teams, so members from engineering, design, marketing, journalism.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine that maybe people watching saying, yeah, this is easier said than done. So you've done this, right? You work in cross-functional teams. So how did you manage to establish it and have the team perform? What are the little tricks, or maybe the bigger things you have to be aware of or take into account?
I think as long as all of them want the best for the business, I think that at least we do better if we do it together. And we see the benefits of having lots of different kinds of view on the problem that we're about to solve together. And usually when you talk about cross-functional teams, you say cross-functional according to academic background or roles in their company. But I mean, it could also be in terms of age or gender or experience. And I mean, look at your reader base, for example, and ask yourself, how can you make a team that looks like them? Because it's about it's the problems that we should solve to make it better for them, for the readers.
Okay. Well, that's some good advice on stopping and on starting and inviting, integrating people from different areas with different ages, backgrounds, expertise, and have them from moment one. And also, you said the HR department, when you have a sort of a job opening, then they have to consult the entire team instead of just the journalist or just the engineer, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, really interesting.